Hi there, I'm Gabrielle Nicolay, the owner and founder of SpeechKids at SpeechKids.com. I am a speech language pathologist, also called a speech therapist, with almost 20 years experience serving young kids and their families. We help little kids learn how to talk, and we help parents understand their kids better. And so these videos are part of the way that I do that. And today we're going to talk about potty training, which is super fun if you're not doing it, and lots of fun to talk about if you're finished doing it, and pretty anxiety producing if you're not quite there yet. So I want to let you know what we're going to be talking about. We will not be talking about any particular approach in today's video, but I am going to give you 5 or 6 tips and tricks so that when you do decide to start potty training your little one, or if you need a reset and you need to try again, you can have sort of some basic tips and tricks. Tips and tricks. So I'm going to give you 5 of those today. And the first thing I want to do is reassure you that unless there is a developmental or medical condition that is preventing your child from becoming potty trained, your adult child will not wear diapers. So don't sweat it. And I'm joking a little bit, but in all seriousness, potty training in the moment feels like such a big deal, but if you take a long view, your kid is going to be out of diapers so much longer than they're going to be in them. So yes, diapers are nasty, they're gross, nobody likes changing them. We talked about that last week, right? Your kid doesn't want you to change your diaper, you don't want to change their diaper. It's a lose-lose many times, but it's not going to be forever, even if it feels that way. So permission there to not worry. The second thing I wanted to tell you is I'm not going to advocate any particular approach, because the reason that all those approaches exist, and if you go online, there are many, right? Some kids train in a weekend. Some kids train over a 6-month period. Some kids won't poop in the potty. Some kids poop first in the potty. Some kids, you put them naked in the yard and they're good to go. Other kids need to hold your hand every single time they go. Some kids will go at home, but not in other places. Like, everybody's different. You know your child, and you can choose the approach that feels right for your family, and you should, because that is your prerogative. It's your job and your privilege as a parent of your unique, wonderful child. So pick what makes sense to you, with these little tips in mind. So what do you need to know before you start potty training? And these are good things to think about so that you don't get halfway in and say, ooh, I wish I'd known this before. Excuse me. So first, you're going to look for signs of readiness. And this is a big deal, because if your child is not at all aware that they are eliminating, then they're probably not ready. Now, there are many cultures where kids don't wear diapers and they train very early. Their moms or their caregivers learn how to read their signals, and sort of from the outside in, we teach the kids to eliminate either on the potty, on the ground, wherever they're doing it, not in their diaper. For most kids in the US, we need to look for their external signs of readiness coming from them. So what does this mean? It means they know when they're wet. It means they know when they're soiled. Maybe they know before. Maybe they, even if they're nonverbal, they might touch their diaper area. They might want to go into the bathroom. They, if they're pooping, will hide from you. That is a sign of readiness, even if they're not quite ready to strip off the diaper and poop in the potty yet. But removing themselves from company indicates to you that they're associating a feeling with the need to go. And so that's a sign of readiness. So all of that is going to set the stage for successful potty training. If your kiddo's not there yet, there are a couple of things that you can do, one of which is take your child to the bathroom with you. And if you just went, ugh, and you don't want to, I get it. And you might need to for some amount of time. Watching other people is how young children learn. And so if they watch you eliminate, even if you are the mother of a boy, it's fine. They can watch you sit. They might sit at first anyway. But if they can go with dad or another male figure, that's fine too, and stand up. But watching other people pee is like how you learn. And I have some notes here, so I'm just checking those out. Oh, another way is to let your child flush their poop down the toilet, so that they begin to associate. Again, the poop goes in the potty. Now, some kids really, really hate this. It's super scary for them. Toilets are scary. They're noisy. They make a big loud noise when they flush. So if it's not fun for your child to flush their poop, don't make them do it. Okay? This has to be like an enjoyable situation where everybody feels safe. But if they like it, and you say, bye-bye poop, and you put it in the potty and they get to flush and then you wash their hands, they're learning part of that chain that they are eventually going to be engaging in. So, signs of readiness, which you can sort of massage, build a little bit to some extent. Do not rush this. Okay, again, back to that 10-year-old even, right? Your child is not going to be 10 years old and still wearing a diaper unless they have a medical or a developmental condition that prevents them from becoming potty trained. So just take the long view. Whether or not they're potty trained today when they are 24 months or 25 or even 36 months, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're going to be out of diapers a lot longer than they're going to be in diapers. When you decide to go, when you've decided now's the time, don't go back. Do something consistently. So choose an approach and do that. Do it for at least 2 weeks, and that's probably about enough time to see what you're up against. If you've got a lot of accidents in those 2 weeks, it might be time to go back to sort of some readiness things. If you've got, if you've got a couple of days where your kiddo's wet, but then they really seem to get it, you're golden. Now, I say do it for 2 weeks and be consistent. If your child is really anxious and really sad and really miserable for more than a couple of days, stop. They're not ready. So again, we always have to walk this line between between motivation and frustration, anxiety, fear, right? We don't learn in frustration, anxiety, or fear. And so if your child is in any of those states while they are potty training, they can't learn how to become potty trained. We have to get them in that zone of motivation, of readiness, in order for them to learn to go in the potty. So choose an approach, doesn't matter which one. Do it consistently for 2 weeks, unless your child is just showing you that they can't do it. When they have an accident, and you notice I said when they have an accident, you got to stay calm and you got to stay super matter of fact about it. Because we're teaching them, right? We're teaching them to stay dry. We're not testing them to see if they can stay dry. We're teaching them how to keep their pants dry without a diaper. Excuse me. We're teaching them how to use the bathroom like a big person. And this can be a big thing for some kids. It can be a very small thing for other kids. But when they have an accident, it needs to be very clear to them that it's no big deal. Now, you might choose to have them change their own pants. That's completely fine. If you want to teach them, that it's not really a good idea to get their pants wet because it's going to be a big pain in the ass and they're going to have to stop playing and go change their pants. That's fine. Part of natural consequences. But we don't want to be all disapproving of them while they have had an accident. It should be a correction, not a disapproval or an admonishment, because we're trying to keep it positive. Okay. Tip number 4, err on the side of nice weather. It's a lot easier to potty train in the spring and summer because we're just wearing less clothes. So if you have a choice, if you're like on the fence about it in November and you've got some time to wait and you don't have a hard deadline, because I know some daycares require kids to be potty trained. If you don't have a hard deadline, wait till March, April, May. That is the perfect time to be potty trained, because you can be without very many clothes. And if you have an accident, it's no big deal. If you want to be naked at home or in the backyard, it's no big deal. And many, many kids learn best when they can actually see what's happening, which means that they're naked. So nice weather is your friend. Okay, I want to talk about, I think that was 5. Readiness, don't rush it. Do it consistently. Stay calm if they have an accident, and err on the side of nice weather. I want to talk about one more thing, which is if your child has special needs. If your child has any kind of developmental special needs or medical needs that involve them either not being aware that they need to use the bathroom or have some other complication that it necessitates them wearing a diaper, and you want to potty train them, check with your developmental pediatrician first. Check with some trusted teachers and advisors first. It's worth sort of doing some research to figure out what's going to be the best approach for your child, and you may have to sort of develop a formal program in order to potty train your child. Not all of them, but some of them. And it's worth doing that work up front before you get into the middle of something and then you've created a big power struggle. Just like with feeding, just like with talking, we cannot force children to eliminate. We can only provide opportunities for them to do so. And so if your child is very anxious, or if your child has, again, another developmental condition that's preventing them from easily being potty trained, bowel movements and urination can quickly turn into a power struggle, and that is the last place in the world we want to be. So avoid those power struggles by deciding on an approach through talking to trusted advisors, your developmental pediatrician, other therapists. Physical therapists have sometimes had experience with potty training. Special educators have experience with potty training. Some speech therapists have experience with potty training. It's worth finding out in advance. So if you haven't already watched it, there's a video on interoception on my website and also on this Facebook page that is about connecting the feeling of needing to go, right? So between the stomach and the brain, needing to go with elimination. And that is something that you might want to watch just for some more information if you're looking for signs of readiness. So I hope that helps. Till next time, take care. Bye-bye.